Hi, I'm DJ Hurley from MKFM, and in this video I'm going to be answering the question, why won't my USB load properly on a CDJ, and how can I fix it? So let's look at some common causes and fixes. The first would be wrong format. So the problem is that most CDJs, especially Pioneer models, require USBs to be formatted in FAT32 or exFAT. And if your USB is formatted in NTFS or another file system, then the CDJs just won't recognize it. So the fix, in this instance then, step 1, back up your data. Then number 2, reformat the USB to FAT32 for universal compatibility, or to exFAT for newer CDJs like CDJ 3000s. And then step 3, use your computer's built-in formatting tools or a dedicated app like Rufus or Disk Utility for Mac. The second problem could be incorrect file structure. So the problem here is CDJs need tracks to be organized properly, often using Recordbox to then analyze and export them. Just dropping random files straight onto your USB drive might actually cause issues. So the fix then? Actually use Pioneer Recordbox software to prepare your playlists. Export your tracks properly to the USB via Recordbox to create the correct folder structure. Third reason it might not work is corrupt USB or corrupt files. So the problem? Corrupted files or a faulty USB can prevent the CDJs from actually loading it in the first place. The fix then for this would be, step 1, test the USB on another device. I mean, you can simply use your laptop for this. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Step 2 then, run a disk check or repair tool like Windows error checking or the Mac first aid feature on the USB drive. And then step 3, well, replace the USB if the problem persists, because quite frankly, it can only go in the bin. Problem number 4 could be outdated CDJ firmware. So the problem here is that with older firmware on the CDJs, they may not then be able to support certain USB formats or new Recordbox features. The fix in this case is going to have to be, step 1, check the firmware version of the CDJ. Then step 2, visit the manufacturer's website, of course, and then download the actual latest firmware available, whether it's from Denon, Pioneer, etc. And then step 3 is update the actual firmware by following the instructions carefully. Issue number 5 could be track issues. So the problem here is that if your tracks aren't properly analyzed or they've got unsupported file types, then again the CDJ may struggle to load them. And this goes back to what I was saying about Recordbox earlier. So the fix in this case is, again, number 1, analyze your music in Recordbox and then make sure that the metadata is as clean as possible. Step 2 then, use high quality MP3, WAV or AAC files. And step 3, avoid unusual bit rates or sample rates. So try and stick to the standard kind of 4.1 kilohertz or 320 kbps for MP3s. The 6th reason your USB might not work is dirty or damaged USB ports. So the problem here is that you might have dust or physical damage to either the USB ports on the actual CDJs, or it could be on the USB stick itself. It may be misshaped or misaligned. The fix in this case? Well, number 1 is definitely going to be clean the USB ports with a can of compressed air or a soft dry brush, something like that. I keep a little paintbrush handy. And then step 2, avoid forcing the USBs into the ports. Check for any bent connectors on the actual USB memory stick. Problem 7 could be multiple partitions on the USB. So the problem in this case is that some USB drives actually have multiple partitions. Not this one, I'm just showing this as an example. That can confuse the CDJs, okay? Now the fix in this instance is going to have to be, number 1, delete all of the partitions and create a single partition using, again, your computer's disk management tools. And step 2 then is to reformat the USB and reload your music via Recordbox. And the 8th reason might be an unsupported USB type. So the problem here is that actually certain CDJs may not support USB 3.0 or specific brands or models. So the only fix in this case then is use a USB 2.0 stick, which is actually universally compatible with all CDJ players. And then step 2 would be stick to trusted brands like SanDisk, Kingston or Samsung. They're names you know, stick with those. Listen, some pro tips for USB preparation, okay? Always carry at least 2 USBs as backups. I've got 3 here, plus an SD card. Label your USBs with name tags or something that will avoid confusion. You know, pop a keyring on there if you can. Test your USB on a CDJ before taking it to a gig. Can't stress that one enough. And regularly check for firmware updates for both your CDJs and for Rekordbox as well. If you're a working DJ, can you do me and my viewers a massive favour and let us all know in the comments what USB brand you've had positive experiences with. What do you use? What's worked well for you? What has been the most reliable for you? Let's spread the word. Let's share. What do you use? If you found this video helpful, please do me a solid, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more DJ tips, tricks, and mixes. Until next time, keep spinning, stay creative, and I'll see you in the mix.